Welcome to the Pediatric Dietitian Podcast, where we, Jen and Danielle, discuss all things related to nutrition for children of all ages so that you, the parents, can learn practical, evidence-based solutions to nourish your child long-term.
Hi, welcome back to the Pediatric Dietitian. I'm Jen.
This is Danielle.
And today we are going to talk about summertime. The weather is changing. The birds are chirping. It's summertime.
It's nice out.
Almost. It's nice out. Not today, but it's nice out.
Somewhere. It's nice out. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about like routines, like your routine changes in the summertime all around. So we're going to talk about tips and tricks to help stay on track.
Yeah, because I know a lot of you guys have probably been working on certain like health changes, health goals, potentially. Like maybe you are struggling with your picky eater or your underweight child or your overweight child or whatever the case, trying to get more veggies in, trying to cook more dinners at home, whatever the case is. We totally understand that when like a life season changes, it can really disrupt your routine.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're like, all the progress we just gained, we're going to lose, or we did lose, or whatever. I've seen it so many times, like, oh, well, he was doing well. And then, you know, grandparents came to visit, or we went to our aunt's house for the summer for 3 weeks and lost all that progress. So we're going to talk about that because I've seen two groups of people. One group that can really make these changes during the season of life that's very predictable and routine. The Monday through Friday school routine is the same. And then there's a change in life routine where it's like, well, we went on a cruise, we went to do this, we went to do that. And then all that progress, like I said, we lost. And families can't seem to just like kind of jump back into where they left off. And then this other group of people that somehow have figured out how to just jump back into it.
Yeah.
And these are the people that have ended up making long-term progress and are achieving more like long-term healthy habits because they've somehow managed to figure out how to ride the wave, how to go with the flow, bounce back, because that's what makes the difference, is knowing how to just bounce back after that routine gets disrupted. But then Monday comes around, just you bounce back. Don't wait.
Don't wait till Tuesday.
So
it probably though means though that it was more of like an actual lifestyle change in that fact, because that's just them getting back to their normal routine versus, you know, kind of cosplaying this like routine that you didn't really like make a significant change.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. So one that's like barely holding on for dear life versus a habit that's really stuck. And so for sure, I believe a key part of that is building the strong routine. Especially when you have multiple kids, especially when you're trying to achieve like some goal, some habit change, the routine aspect of life is key. Just that structure, the predictable aspect of a routine is what can really help build habits long term. And then once you have those habits long term, even if you go on a 10-week, what? That's awesome. I would love to go on a 10-week vacation.
Me too.
10-day vacation, you should be able to come back and the next morning jump back into routine. It might not be like 100% where you were right before you left for vacation, but just don't assume, oh, we should just like relax after vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you're like still in vacay mode, right? And then it could be weeks, months before you realize like, oh, you know, I got to get back on track. And then you're just like in your head, you're like, okay, I'll wait till January 1st. It is so typical, and it's too far.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's no reason to wait.
Yeah. But also I was going to say, like, you can make these routine changes at any point in time. You don't have to say, I'm going wait till Monday,
Right.
like
what is the point?
just do it now.
Even if it's
Yeah.
Friday evening when your plane landed.
Exactly. And, starting small, making small changes and working your way up.
Right.
Obviously you're not going to overnight say, I'm going to completely overhaul my diet and tomorrow be a bodybuilder.
Right. For instance, I'm thinking of one patient, and one of the things the parents were really working on with her was eating vegetables more frequently, like putting them on her plate every day, and really working on decreasing the impulsivity with her snack eating. And so they had been making a lot of progress until they went on a trip. And so I had seen them like 3 weeks after their trip ended, and they were like, yeah, we're still working back up to it. And I'm like, yeah, but don't. Just do it. Just like exactly where we left off. Kids really thrive with structure. So I feel like almost one of the biggest things that holds families back is the parents. The parents are like trying to figure out their crap in terms of getting back on top of things. So totally understand that. And you do have to give yourself some grace because you are going to make mistakes for sure. But like, I don't know. The reason doesn't need to be your kids need time to ease into it. They make associations with things and places. So like, when we're at home, this is how we live. This is how we eat. And when we're on vacation, it's a lot looser. It's different. Yeah, we can be more relaxed. But now we're back home.
Yeah. I mean, you can do a little bit of both, When you're on vacation, it doesn't only have to be brown foods. You're allowed to eat vegetables on vacation. Like, no one's telling you not to. It might be a little harder to find them. Might be a little bit more money that you have to put out to order that stuff at a meal at a restaurant. But, you can't just not do it just because I'm on vacation.
That's right. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. Like one thing that can make it easier to bounce back as soon as you're back into your routine daily life is not letting everything go during the change of season. So whether that's camp, somebody's visiting you guys are visiting somebody, you're going on a trip somewhere, you're out of town somewhere, you don't have to let every thing go. It doesn't need to be Fruit Loops for breakfast, pizza for lunch, chicken tenders and fries for dinner, and then a soda and an ice cream. Like we can do some of that.
Yeah.
But we don't need every meal to be a treat meal because we're on vacation for the next 7 days. Like that's too much.
Exactly.
Right? Like kids essentially and the reason it's too much, let me back that up. The reason it's too much is not because in 7 days you're going to make or break your child's health. It's because of the habits that is building and instilling in your kids for the rest of their lives. Then the rest of their lives is going to be like, I'm on vacation. Like having margaritas at 8 a.m. when they're in their 20s. And it's like, did you even have a real meal? And it's like, well, I was taught that since I was a kid. I was just always taught this is what vacation looks like.
Agreed,
and sometimes it's like too much.
Yeah.
I have like some aspects of my routine that I feel for me is like a must when I'm away for an extended period of time, or to be honest, even just a long weekend. One of those is good coffee. But the other one is like a really solid breakfast. Otherwise, I just feel off the rest of the day. I'm like starving the rest of the day. My cravings are out of control.
Totally.
And so I usually, one of my things is if I'm going away, I'm not staying with somebody. Well, I'll talk about that in a second, but I usually like always get a hotel that has a mini kitchen. So like like a Homewood Suites or something. There's not a lot of options where I go to on the East Coast, but yeah. And then I always do like a Whole Foods pickup or something like that where I'm like eggs, a sourdough bread, butter, and then like the half and half for my coffee.
Also, hotel breakfasts are kind of disgusting. So
yeah,
whatever you can do to plan ahead.
Yeah, like European hotel breakfasts are like they spoil you, but like they have really good protein choices and like it's real food.
Different vibes.
Yeah, here I'm like, are those real eggs? I'm pretty sure it comes from like a big plastic bag and they dump it out. And no thanks. It's like some weird texture. So even even if I stay at a hotel with the free breakfast, I might grab the banana
Yeah.
on my way out the door.
Yeah.
But I'm like, none of this is real food.
Yeah.
So we always make our own breakfast in the hotel. And then sometimes if we're staying at like, even if, depending on who I'm staying with, like some people don't mind if you're like, hey, can I like Instacart groceries to your house?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like my
That's a good idea.
sister-in-law. I'll do that but I'll get stuff for the whole family. I'm like, do you mind? Like, I'll just like Sprouts order everything to their house. And I'm like, but I'll cook dinner. I'm sending all the stuff. And it's like stuff for our breakfast, like my coffee, the pasture raised eggs that I get sent there. And, if you can use it as an excuse for like, I'll make stuff for everybody. Then you're not looking like a snob, like the food snob that I am. But that's an option. Like I will schedule like a Whole Foods pickup for a certain time when I know like right after we land, we're renting our car and we're going to Whole Foods because I need stuff for the trip. Yeah. Nice. If I can't pack everything, and then other times I'll have it sent to a hotel, sent to the Airbnb that we're staying at. So those are options. Yeah, obviously some families like that would be rude. They would consider it rude, and you don't want to offend people. Obviously, I'm going to eat whatever family is serving me.
It's also just way more cost effective. Like you maybe spend $50 on groceries, but like you could easily spend $50 just on breakfast. Like,
exactly,
it's so expensive.
Yeah.
If you do go out for breakfast, though, we're trying to still get all the food groups. Try to start off the day still with something good.
Yeah, something solid, reliable.
Really get
before
the job
day
done.
Gets away from you all. So other things you can try to include throughout the day, like during trips away and such, could be like you said, like a vegetable, like even if we're going out to dinner every night this week, or we're on the cruise ship or whatever it is, it's like if you have that kind of routine at home and it is feasible to continue it while you're away, you should.
Yeah.
So I usually say to families, like, just identify a couple things that you can continue,
like your deal breakers that you like can't live without. Like, you have to continue this.
Yeah. And it's going to be significant enough to kind of help everybody stay grounded, include something nutritious, some type of habit that you were really working on building before. So it could be like, okay, during their summer camp, well, they're going to eat whatever breakfast and lunch the camp is serving, and then they get home and they're probably going to give them all types of snacks. There's nothing you can do about that.
You can't control that part.
Yes. Like, don't focus on what you can't control, but just focus your efforts on what you can control. And that, okay, well, they had all types of, treats while they were away all day, and that's fine. And now we're just going to make sure we have a really balanced, healthy dinner. And we're not going to have dessert at night because they've been having it
all day.
And so you don't need to feel like you're depriving them. That you're not. They had their treats all day at camp.
Exactly.
Right? So it could be like, well, even though we're at grandma's house or whatever the case, still need to put some of that salad on your plate, just like at home, like not forcing you to eat it. I really don't believe we've talked about this before, right? We don't believe in forcing them to eat things that they don't like or haven't tried yet, but like it should be on your plate still, same at your auntie's house. It doesn't matter if we're at home or not, just have it on your plate and try to work up the bravery to try it,
Exactly.
Maybe like at home, you've been working on getting the kids more involved with cooking and trying new recipes. You don't need to do all that during this season of change, during vacations, during trips, during camps and whatever. You don't really, that's not really feasible to continue.
Yeah.
And you don't need to feel bad about that, but it's like, but what was feasible to continue? You know how we've been like weaning down the soda and the juice? We can continue that on the trip,
Yes,
and we don't want to kind of
break all those habits.
Yes, because you will definitely lose the progress in that aspect. If we were like really working down on only having treats and candy twice a week, and now we're at I don't know, on vacation somewhere, maybe it is feasible to continue limiting that. Maybe it's not. It just kind of depends. If there's a bunch of like their cousins around and they're having treats, it might not be feasible to limit that.
You know, and you just don't want like that one day of bad eating to affect the whole trip either. So like, let's say the first day you guys are going buck wild, like you guys are having some treats, you're at the carnival, you're, you know, having cotton candy and stuff. Again, for dinner, try to get those veggies in there. The next day, you know, maybe try to get a more hearty breakfast that's less sugary and kind of slow it down. You know, you don't have to say like, you know, I broke our diet yesterday, so we're off the diet. No, the diet is continuing. It's just a lifestyle change.
Exactly.
But you don't have to, you know, ruin your progress for the whole trip.
Yeah. So there are definitely ways to balance it and enjoy treats and more lax meals and such, but still maintain some healthy habits. So especially like if there's tons of birthday parties, if there's just like one-off meals and events, I agree with that for sure. Like maybe they went to a birthday party for around lunchtime in the afternoon and they had their cake and ice cream and the pizza and whatever. So like maybe at dinner, it's a lot more simple and more like protein and veggie heavy than anything else. Maybe it's just like a protein and a big salad because lunch was all carbs, you know? So there are ways to balance it in that way. Again, don't focus on the here and there events that you guys can't control during the summer. It's like, well, just at home, at least we're going to have well-rounded, balanced meals. There's always going to be a veggie. We don't need to
continuing
order out
same.
same
as before
because they're getting all these treats elsewhere. So don't stress yourself out about that. But it's just like, okay, well then we don't have treats at home right now because you're getting them at all these parties, and I want you to be able to enjoy that and not feel guilty and shameful about that. It's very reasonable, but it's just the matter of like, we're just not going to make pasta as much at night because we know they're having so many like carb heavy meals outside of the house in all the areas you guys can't control.
I was gonna say, like, still being mindful of like, these are kids, like, you know, that kids are gonna be eating these things at parties. You don't have to create any shame around it. Like, you don't have to say, oh well, you had ice cream at lunch, you can have, you know. I think just being more like cautious about the way you talk. Like I had a client the other day and the patient was just like, is this healthy? Everything is like, is this healthy? Is shrimp healthy? Is pasta healthy? And I'm just like, anything can be healthy. It just depends on like the amount, what else is with it. And like,
it's all context.
Exactly. Like it's all about the balance of it. You know, you can't just demonize certain things and say like, you know, shrimp is unhealthy because of all that cholesterol in it.
No, guys. What I try and bring it back to when kids are, you know, going down that rabbit hole, I'm like, just like take a step back. Is this a natural food? Did it come from the earth? Okay. Is it like being cooked in a kitchen? You know, like where do shrimp come from? And they're like, the ocean.
Exactly.
Where do eggs come from? You know, I'm like, okay, then it's a healthy food. Eat it. Okay. If we're talking about hot Cheetos, you know, they come from a bag. We read the ingredients together. I'm like, have you seen monosodium glutamate in your mom's kitchen? And they're like, what's that? I'm like, this is something you only have once in a while then. Because we're supposed to be eating mostly natural homemade foods. But yeah, I agree with like being very intentional and careful about the words you guys are using about the treats and such, and like the diet changes during these changes in your season of life. Or so like we don't want to say, oh well, we're not having pasta tonight because you ate too much sugar. You know, it's just like balancing it out, essentially. Like, oh, well, you got to enjoy the ice cream and the pizza at your friend's birthday. And so we're just going to focus mainly on protein and veggies because you didn't get a chance to get all that in at the party. You know, so there's nothing wrong with enjoying the treats. And also, I think it's very helpful for kids to know that their opinions and cravings are quite normal. Like, it's totally normal that you want pasta at dinner every night.
Same kid. Me too.
Yeah, like, who doesn't want that? We don't want them to feel bad about themselves and about the fact that that's what they prefer. Like, yes, everybody likes cake and ice cream and likes the pasta and the rice over anything else.
Just feel good foods, unfortunately.
Yes. And the reason we have to pay attention to how much of those we have is because X, Y, and Z, you know?
Yeah.
So as your kids get older and can start absorbing and learning different pieces of information and connecting the dots, you know, give them more information instead of just I said so. And it's not about how you look and your weight or anything. It's just, well, when we have too much sugar, it can make it easier for us to get sick. We don't want to get colds all summer long and then you don't get to enjoy stuff, you know? It can make it harder for your brain to develop and for you to learn and feel focused and listening to me. And then you might feel frustrated because it's not computing. And so parents are for sure still in charge of what's available, what kids have access to. It cannot just be a free-for-all because they wanted it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at least under your roof or when you guys are in control, like when we're all going out to eat, it can't just be like whatever they're asking for on the menu. There has to be some guardrails up still during these different changes in the routine. You know, it can't just be free for all the time. Once in a while, but also within reason. Like when we go get like an ice cream cone with the family that's in town, it can't be whatever's on the menu. It's like, we're still sticking with the kid sizes. Okay? You can't have
don't need like a boat. A boat of ice cream.
Right. So we still can't just free.
You're still the adult.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like you're not depriving your kids by putting limits in place. Kids need the limits. They need structure. They need boundaries. And sticking with some of them during these seasons of change is what helps you guys gain more ground in the daily, in the normal routine, because kids are more so trusting what you're saying is legit. Like, oh, well, if they said it, they're going to stick to it versus knowing I can break them.
Yeah, exactly.
The more I whine and cry about it, the more they will give in.
Yeah.
And then the negotiation, like that never stops.
Yeah.
If once you guys keep giving in and the boundary keeps moving.
Exactly. If you are working on this at home before you take trips or, you know, going to grandma's house and stuff is just physical activity, you know, making sure like, you know, if you were working on taking walks every day after dinner or playing sports or something with your kids outside, you know, continue that. That's like wonderful for their mental health. And also, you know, just to continue that routine of like, this isn't like forced exercise. Like we're having fun. We're doing things. We're staying active. Sometimes it's easier, obviously, if you're going to like Disneyland and you're just walking all day.
Around a lot.
Sometimes it's not as easy.
No, but trying to still incorporate that wherever you can. Like if all the cousins are visiting, it's like should be like go play outside or let's all go for walks or whatever, or go to the park versus let's all play video games for 6 hours
and not talk to each other.
Right. Okay. Let's share some more tips with you guys from real life experience. I do actually tend to go on like a summer trip with our besties and then their 3 kids. And so it'll be like, I don't know, 7 to 10 days somewhere in the States usually. And we're usually doing like some hikes, some like national parks. We're doing a lot of driving all around. And so that looks like usually Airbnbs have been our go-to. It's cheaper, it's easier, and
more space.
Way more space. We can be around each other more, and then we can cook.
Yeah,
you know?
True.
So if we're doing a road trip, like from our house to somewhere, we are always packing as much food as possible. Number one, because let's face it, I am a food snob. So I just can't help it. Like, I'm sorry that I like good food. Okay. I'm sorry that I know too much too, about the ingredients. I'm like, I don't know. But yeah, if I can cook something better than a restaurant, it's not fun going out to eat. Then I'm like, oh, I could have made this better.
Especially in like kind of the middle of nowhere. Like you're driving through like for, random places, and there's not really anything good to find.
Like if we're going to Joshua Tree, there's only so many places
on the
way in the middle of nowhere.
Exactly.
So
it's like In and Out or Carl's Jr.
No.
And
especially if it's a short drive, relatively short, like 2 to 5 hours. Like I can definitely pack the snacks for the 2-hour drive or the sandwiches for the 5-hour drive.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to be stopping at a fast food place for that.
It's a short drive.
Yes, come on.
Yeah.
So use the coolers for that.
Totally.
Like there can be, we always have, like with our best friends and their kids, like a big Ziplocs of like carrots, cucumbers, bell peppers. I don't know. Their kids are obsessed with orange bell peppers, and now I am. So, and then we'll have fruit, and then we'll have cheese, like Baby Bells or like the Tillamook rectangle things for like a protein and a fat. And then we'll probably have like a bag of chips, like the better kinds. That's like the Siete brand. We love that. Or like the Boulder one. So they're made in like avocado oil, and it's like 3 ingredients: potatoes, salt, avocado oil. Yeah. And then maybe like chocolate covered almonds, like not straight up Skittles or something. It's like, it still has the almond in there.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like a dark chocolate.
Yeah, you get chocolate.
And then pack the water bottles. Okay. We're not stopping and getting Capri Suns or Gatorades or sodas. There's absolutely no need for that, even if we're going on like a 4-mile hike. So, those are like our staples. And then we'll do a lot of sandwiches for hikes.
Nice. It's easy.
Yeah, exactly. And then the kids all make their sandwiches with us. Nice. So we line up, assembly line, and
you bring all the ingredients. And make it there.
Yeah. So depending if it's something local, I bring everything. And then if we're like this summer, we're going out of state, and so I will for sure be finding the grocery store that we're going to after the airport with the list. And depending on if it's the type of store that has the ability to do a pickup, I will do that. Otherwise, I'll be shopping around. Finding as good of ingredients as I can. And then it's a monotonous lunch. Yes. It's like PBJs or like turkey and cheese or whatever, roast beef and whatever.
That's the job done though. You're hitting all the food groups.
Exactly. So then we'll have like the sandwich and then like the veggie on the side and a piece of fruit. And
nice.
And that's the lunch,
It's a good tip for like the beach too. Like everyone loves a good sandwich on the beach. Like, I mean, that's like my go-to when I go to the beach. It's like,
why not? Because number one, I don't know how anybody is affording like a family of 5 to go out to a restaurant for every meal on vacation.
Let alone, I mean, gas is already, we're already paying for the gas on a road trip.
Yeah. So very expensive, but also time consuming, like to find the restaurant, get everybody settled. And then it's like just trying to avoid the arguments about where we're going and what everybody's going to order. It's like, we're having the sandwiches,
So these are some of our tips that we were talking about for like summer breaks. We're gonna come back next week with more tips, so stay tuned.
More like next
month.
Yeah. So maybe even save this for a reference when you are planning that trip and planning the summer camps. Come back and listen to this over again. Jot down a couple tips that you really want to implement. So just remember, like there's some give and take. There is some balance. There is some aspects of the routine that we can still continue through this season of change. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it doesn't have to be the opposite. It's not all or nothing. Right? I think that's what we're trying to say. It's not all or nothing. There is a middle ground, and just continuing some like kind of foundational pieces of your guys' new healthy lifestyle is going to really help you moving forward back into school season next fall, right? But we still have more tips for you, right? So don't stop following us, subscribe, and check us out for our next month's podcast.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Pediatric Dietitian. Don't forget to subscribe and share with another parent who could use a little extra support.